Good evening, everyone. When we hear the word architecture in Jamaica, most of us picture the grand old buildings, the Rose Hall Great House in St. James, the old plantation estates of Trelawney, or those graceful churches that still stand proud in downtown Kingston. They remind us of our past, of craftsmanship, of artistry, and of the stories that shaped who we are. But the truth is, the architecture of tomorrow will look very different. We're standing at a crossroads where the future of Jamaican design is being written right now, in the homes we build, the materials we choose, and the way we think about space. And the question we all have to ask ourselves is this: what should a Jamaican home, a Jamaican city, look like in the next 20, 30, 50 years? The land still speaks. I always say, if you want to know what good architecture means, just step outside and listen. The land itself will tell you what works. In Jamaica, the land speaks in sunlight and limestone, in breeze and rain. The old houses understood that. They were designed for the tropics. High ceilings, long verandas, cool breezeways and thick walls that kept the heat out. Today we've drifted a little from that wisdom. We've started copying what we see in colder climates. Glass boxes, steel towers, sealed spaces that trap heat and depend on air conditioning. The future of architecture in Jamaica must come full circle. We need to design buildings that breathe again, buildings that shade, that cool, that collect rainwater, that respect the environment. This isn't about going backward, it's about going forward intelligently. Imagine solar panels that double as hurricane shields. Imagine homes built with local bamboo, lime plaster and recycled stone. Imagine every house on the block using the rain that falls on its roof to water the garden and flush the toilet. That's the kind of sustainable, climate smart design that's not only possible, it's necessary. The sky is the new yard. Let's talk about the big shift that's already happening. We're going vertical. For a long time, Jamaican life was horizontal. Wide lots, open yards, verandas where neighbours could call out across the fence. But land is limited now. Kingston, Montego Bay, even parts of Ocho Rios. They're growing upward, not outward. Some people worry that means we'll lose our Jamaican character. I don't think so. Going vertical doesn't mean going foreign. It means finding creative ways to express our identity in a modern way. So maybe the veranda becomes a balcony, the breadfruit tree becomes a rooftop garden, the backyard lime moves to the terrace under the stars. If we get this right, our skyline will tell a story, one of innovation, not imitation. We can design high rises that use natural ventilation, cross breezes and light. Buildings where every floor feels connected to the outdoors. That's what I call tropical modernism. Not just tall buildings, but smart buildings that make sense in our climate and culture. Designing for resilience. Let's be honest, the climate crisis is not coming. It's already here. Every hurricane season reminds us how fragile our built environment is. Flooding, storm surges, power outages. We've seen it all. And so, the future of architecture in Jamaica has to be about survival as much as style. We need climate resilient homes, elevated where they should be, anchored where they must be, and built from materials that can take a hit and recover fast. This means stronger foundations, better drainage, and smarter layouts that protect people and property. But it also means something deeper, learning from the way our ancestors built. They didn't have computers, but they knew how to position a house to catch the wind. They knew which trees cooled the yard and how to shape roofs so rainwater ran away from the home. If we mix that wisdom with modern science, if we design with humility, Jamaica can lead the world in resilient tropical architecture. Smart technology, smarter living. Technology is transforming how we live and how we build. In Jamaica, the rise of smart homes isn't a dream anymore. from energy monitoring systems to motion sensor lighting, from app-controlled security to smart irrigation. It's all here. But smart homes should do more than impress us. They should protect us. Imagine hurricane shutters that close automatically when wind speeds hit a certain level, or smart grids that share solar power among neighbors when the GPS line goes down. 3D printing, modular construction and drone mapping are changing the game. With the right systems, we can design and build faster, cheaper and more sustainably. Technology is not replacing craftsmanship, it's enhancing it, and it gives us a real shot at solving one of our biggest challenges: housing affordability. Housing with dignity. Let's face it, housing is one of Jamaica's biggest social issues. There's a gap between luxury and necessity, between the penthouse and the unfinished room. Too many families are priced out of the very communities they help build. But architecture can help bridge that gap. The answer isn't to build cheaper homes, it's to build smarter homes. Modular housing, mixed income developments, and adaptable spaces can create inclusive neighborhoods where everyone feels at home. We need to see housing as a human right, not just a market. A home isn't just walls and a roof. It's where people find safety, dignity, and possibility. As a nation, if we can design housing that uplifts our people, we'll be building more than structures. We'll be building hope. Reclaiming our design language. Now let's talk about style. Because architecture isn't just function, it's culture made visible. For too long, our architecture has been shaped by outside influences. Colonial symmetry, North American modernism, and now global minimalism. But we're at a point where we can define our own design language. What does Jamaican modern look like? It looks bold, colourful, honest. It looks like a mix of polished concrete and bright fabrics. It feels like sunlight on coral stone, or cool breeze through decorative blocks. It's architecture that feels alive. Because we're a people who live with rhythm and expression. It's time our buildings reflected that. This isn't about copying the past. It's about evolving it, turning heritage into inspiration. The future belongs to those who design from the inside out, not the outside in. Design for people, not just for profit. Architecture is never neutral. Every building either includes or excludes. It either connects or isolates. The best architecture, the kind we need more of in Jamaica, connects people. Public plazas, walkable streets, markets where you can shop, eat and talk. Parks where children and elders can share space. That's how we build stronger communities, and we must make sure our public spaces work for everyone, people with disabilities, the elderly, families, the youth. Accessibility and dignity must be built into our blueprints. When we design with empathy, we're not just building infrastructure, we're building society. Sustainability is not a trend. You've probably heard the word green so many times it's starting to lose meaning. But let's be clear, sustainability is not a marketing slogan. It's the foundation of our survival. As Jamaica moves toward its national development goals, architecture will be central. Solar energy, rainwater recycling and energy-efficient materials are not optional, they're essential. Green architecture is not just about the environment, it's also economic. Every dollar saved on energy is a dollar that stays in a Jamaican pocket. We must build cities that coexist with nature, not fight against it. Parks, mangroves, trees, coastal buffers. These are not extras, they're infrastructure. If we treat sustainability as design's moral compass, Jamaica will not only survive the next century, we'll thrive in it. The home redefined. The pandemic changed how we see our homes. We started valuing natural light, ventilation, flexible spaces. The kitchen became a classroom. The balcony became a gym. The bedroom became an office. Now, people want homes that can adapt, homes that heal, that connect us to nature, and to each other. I see a future where Jamaican homes have rooftop gardens for food security, shaded terraces for social life, and open layouts that breathe. And more Jamaicans are embracing local craftsmanship, handmade furniture, locally quarried stone, and materials that tell a story. That's how we keep our creative economy strong. By celebrating our own talent, the home of tomorrow should reflect who we are: proud, resourceful, and connected to the land. Nurturing the next generation. No vision for architecture can succeed without people to carry it forward. We must invest in the next generation, our architects, designers, engineers, and builders. Education has to evolve. Students should learn not just how to design buildings, but how to design solutions for climate, for culture, for community. Partnerships between universities, private developers, and public agencies can help bridge the gap between theory and practice. When young designers are empowered, when their ideas are taken seriously, we'll see architecture that doesn't just follow global trends, it sets them. Tourism and the global image of Jamaica. We can't talk about architecture without talking about tourism, because for many visitors, our buildings are their first impression of who we are. The future of tourism architecture shouldn't just be about luxury, it should be about authenticity. Eco-lodges built from natural materials, heritage buildings restored and reborn as community spaces, resorts that protect the coastline instead of consuming it. When tourists come to Jamaica, they should feel not just entertained, but connected. Our architecture can tell that story of a nation that honors its roots while reaching for the future. A vision for 2050. Let me paint a picture. It's the year 2050. Kingston's skyline rises, but it's green. Rooftop gardens, solar facades, and public terraces fill with life. Communities in the hills are powered by renewable microgrids. Water harvesting is standard. Homes are built to withstand storms and celebrate sunlight. Our universities produce designers who think like environmentalists and act like innovators. Our public spaces invite everyone, not just a few. And our rural areas, they're thriving too, with eco-housing, agro-tourism, and creative hubs. And that is the Jamaica I see. A design nation. A country that uses architecture not just to build walls, but to build unity. A call to build the future. So as we look to the future, let's remember this. Architecture is not just about concrete and glass. It's about people. It's about climate. It's about identity. Every blueprint we draw, every project we start, every home we hand over should answer one question. Does this make Jamaica stronger? If it does, then we're on the right track. And as for me, I'm not just speaking as a developer or a designer. I'm speaking as someone who believes that homes can change lives. That when we build better, we live better. I'm Dean Jones, founder of Jamaica Homes, and my mission is simple: to help Jamaicans, wherever they are in the world, find a place to belong right here at home. Because building homes isn't just about real estate, it's about nation building. It's about giving people roots, dignity, and the chance to dream. So my call to you is this: whether you're an architect, a policymaker, a builder, or just someone who loves this island, let's build the future together. Let's create spaces that inspire, protect, and endure. Let's build a Jamaica that breathes. Strong, sustainable, and undeniably ours. Thank you.